The world is rushing past too fast to feel anything but the ache of what you've already lost. And now, the price for every stolen advantage comes due. The day to enter the academy had come. Unsurprisingly, Goen had come and offered Seol-Hwi a pill, and he didn't forget to tell him that the pill was worth 10 years of training. Seol-Hwi gulped it down as soon as he received it. Health, 1,405, up arrow 85, / 1,405 internal energy, 33-0. Up arrow 2000, / 33-0 like in the past, his internal energy has increased quite a lot. That wasn't all, however. Fiery bare-handed demonic arts, imitation right arrow beginner. It was incredible to reach beginner level right as he entered. Thank God, Seol-Hwi was grateful. At this level, defeating the people inside would be easier. Here. Goen stopped walking and pointed to the majestic octagonal pavilion as he did in the past. Now that I have guided you, I will head back. When the man turned away, the options came up again. Good. Give me one more of the flying dragon pill from the earth demon. Expression, smile. The second choice is gone. Was it because the short sword was in his toolbox? Is there anything you want to say to me? Was asked in the past, so it made sense. If not, he would keep getting the sword. Neither are great. Continuing, what did you say? Goen looked back, obviously displeased. However, Seol-Hwi had no need to be afraid. I guess you didn't get it. What? The fourth disciple made it clear that he would give me a flying dragon pill and one flaring pill. That's why I asked. Goen stared at him, so it's true. Goen's change in expression made Seol-Hwi certain. You didn't know? Well, it'll be late, but we can head back and get. Something popped out of Goen's sleeve. The reddish light coming off it made it evident that it was a vitality pill. That's it. Clearly he hadn't picked wrongly. You, Seol-Hwi's joy was interrupted. Yes, what did, Seol-Hwi was hit in the stomach and fell to the ground. Goen stepped on Seol-Hwi's face. Ack, you'll die in there anyway. Even if you live, you'll die by my hands. Goen spat on Seol-Hwi's face and stood with a laugh. I'll kill you with my own hands. You're first next time. As Goen left, Seol-Hwi jammed the pill into his mouth. Health, 74-8, up arrow 6003, / 74-8 internal energy, 68-0. Up arrow 35-0, / 68-0 white light demonic arts. Beginner right arrow basic fiery bare-handed martial arts. Red hot palm, beginner right arrow basic peak flourishing demonic arts. Explosive flaming force imitation right arrow beginner. If Seol-Hwi had more power, he'd take down this man too. But for now he had someone else to worry about. Passive mind reading imitation right arrow beginner status. Goen earth demon's escort. Body. Normal hostility. 77% warning, stats health, 15,000 / 15,000 internal energy, 12,000 / 12,000. How great is 12,000 when Seol-Hwi only has 68-0? As expected, the instructor at the entrance desk offered Seol-Hwi his options. Choose. Seol-Hwi smiled. The choices and words were the same as last time. You'll take them all anyway. I'll do this. You chose, body, you need to collect 6 of the body bamboo sheets. You have 1 day and then the test is over. Proceed through the back door to the far right. The instructor said what he wanted to say, the same as before. There are a lot of things in there, books which everyone wants, treasures that might help you fight, weapons to kill with. If you look around, you can find a lot. I have a question, Seol-Hwi politely asked. I am not the only one taking the test, right? There should be a lot of people here, but I don't see anyone. Is there another entrance? Seol-Hwi waited for an answer, but the instructor just leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. After 7 minutes of silence, Seol-Hwi began to feel anxious. The other man was an instructor, so it wasn't like Seol-Hwi could fight him. I'll just leave. Snow tends to pile up. Seol-Hwi doubted his ears, thinking he might have heard it wrong, but the instructor did not offer clarification. Snow piles up. Seol-Hwi eyed the instructor. This place was definitely a test site, but they had to be let in at different times if it was this empty. Snowfall. Did that mean the ones coming in next would be stronger, like the snow piling up? That told him it was to his advantage to move fast. Come again. Seol-Hwi entered the body test and looked around, rubbing his chin. Blue roof, red roof, colorful places. He looked out of place for this trip, which would soon turn into a bloodbath. Where are you? Seol-Hwi waited in front of the red building where he was attacked in the past. The wounds still haunted him. This time was different. Seol-Hwi knew he would be attacked, but he couldn't find their position. Seol-Hwi couldn't feel any energy in the vicinity. Maybe the man had a knack for ambushes. It hadn't been easy to find the man in the past, either. Regardless, if he kept wasting time here, someone would attack him. Well, Seol-Hwi decided to move on. What happened? Did he go somewhere else? He clicked his tongue. He just looked ahead and didn't bother with all this in the past. I need to do the same. So Seol-Hwi walked onwards, acting like he didn't care and deliberately exposing his back. Warning, an unidentified enemy has discovered Seol-Hwi. How will you respond? Here it is. Counterattack. Defend. Run away. Last time, he chose to run away and took a cut to the back for his efforts. In retrospect, the attack was unavoidable. Counterattack. Defend. Run away. Seol-Hwi had no intention of defending. Even if he did, he was sure that the enemy would be able to handle his defense. Counterattack. Defend. Run away. You have selected counterattack. Seol-Hwi realized three things. First, the man came from a hole in the wall of the building. Second, the opponent was closer. Third, their blades met with a shower of sparks. Seol-Hwi could easily block his attack. This is nothing, Seol-Hwi chuckled. Third, the difference between him and his opponent was overwhelming. The proof was in the ease he handled his enemy with. A golden opportunity. You discovered a gap in the enemy's movements. How will you respond? To be honest, this life was a bit exciting. Had he suddenly developed a taste for killing? No, it was because of the difference in level. He understood the joy that big numbers would give him for the first time. Attack. Use martial arts. Use toolbox. It didn't matter what he chose. He would win. Attack would end it in 3 seconds, and he'd already done use martial arts, so attack. Use martial arts. Use toolbox for now. He'd figure out what the toolbox would do for him. You have selected use toolbox. Instructions will not be repeated. Toolbox healing confectionery bar, bitten. Golden potion, X2O, iron blood, poison zone equipment, short sword zone, moon-scented dagger zone. You may choose from healing items and equipment. Healing equipment. Does it only show the things I can use right now? That would mean everything he could see could be helpful right now. Equipment, right arrow weapons, short sword zone. Moon-scented dagger zone. You have selected short sword. Where do you want to equip it? Location, right arrow, right hand, continuing. When? The opponent's expression stiffened. So this is how it works. The sword had appeared directly in his right hand. This feature would be handy if he ever broke or lost his weapon. Of course, he wasn't in control of when the system would give him the opportunity. Die, as his poor skills suggested, Seol-Hwi's opponent rushed in recklessly. In Seol-Hwi's eyes, the man was almost too slow. He took him down with a simple stab and plucked the bamboo plaque off the corpse. The toolbox. Seol-Hwi weighed the benefits of the toolbox versus being able to rewind to 3 seconds before the attack. Honestly, it didn't seem that great in comparison, though the healing could be useful in an emergency. He didn't think it was reliable, though. Well, I'll figure out a good use for it if I keep trying. No need to use it just because I learned it. Seol-Hwi peeked around and carefully moved away. Stealth has been activated. Note, internal energy will be gradually consumed. How many people were in the test arena? What treasures lie within, and how many? What he did know were the 2 buildings he'd seen in his last life. The bigger the building, the more treasures it had. There were 7 buildings: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and purple. Seol-Hwi opted to go for the purple building. Why? It seemed like it had the most treasure. The purple building had 3 sections arranged into a U-shape, and all sections were quite tall. Seol-Hwi quickly leapt over the wall. Fortunately, there was good cover. He had stealth, but the sugar canes blocking vision were better. He may be stronger than before, but that was all relative. He couldn't be sure just how strong he was. First, to the roof, he decided, and to this side. There was an opening on the other side, but he opted for the other direction. Seol-Hwi leapt over the roof tiles and ducked into a window. I need to be careful from now on. He cautiously scanned the room. It was large enough to comfortably accommodate a dozen people. It had a closet and a few drawers along the walls. Seol-Hwi carefully closed the door and thoroughly searched the room for treasure. Nothing. He was disappointed, but he knew it would be weird to find a treasure so easily. Seol-Hwi padded slowly into the hallway. Someone's there. Seol-Hwi ducked into a doorframe. He could feel the energy from a room a little bit away. It wasn't something he could normally feel. It was probably because of his new technique. Stealth effect. You can hear faint sounds from the fifth room. Detecting your opponents was a critical part of effective stealth. This technique turned out to be surprisingly effective at it. Seol-Hwi decided that he needed to see the opponent. He wouldn't just blindly attack. He would track them down, discern their abilities, and then find a weakness. Seol-Hwi took full advantage of stealth to approach, sticking as close to the wall as he could. He felt the opponent move from the third room by the stairs to the second floor. What is he up to? It was frustrating. The enemy was moving, but Seol-Hwi couldn't figure out what was happening through the closed door. He didn't have the confidence to venture in, however. He got more nervous the longer he waited. It's dangerous to stay like this. Should I just attack? If he remained in the hallway exposed, another enemy could come. In the worst-case scenario, that meant dealing with two opponents at once. Let's go in. Believe in yourself. Seol-Hwi carefully cracked the door open. The system didn't show him any weaknesses, just the enemy's abilities. Status: Gu Yeom Wushan Pavilion Extermination Squad Leader. Body: Normal stats health. 22.5/22.5 Internal Energy. 1820/1820 Seol-Hwi dashed towards him, swinging his sword as hard as he could. The man hastily tried to block and lost his balance. Stats health: 21.2 down arrow 103/22.5 Internal Energy. 1712 down arrow 108/1820 The man's body twisted and collapsed. Seol-Hwi didn't miss the chance. His sword whistled past his opponent's chest and smashed into his collarbone. A powerful strike. Stats health: 44 down arrow 2058/22.5 Internal Energy. 110 down arrow 16.2/1820 Gu Yeom coughed up blood. His eyes lost focus and it seemed like he lost the will to fight. Why? Seol-Hwi had successfully beat him down, but he was confused. Why didn't I get a message about a weakness this time? It should have, from what he knew. So what was the trigger then? How was he supposed to land the critical hits? Kill me, Gu Yeom croaked. His eyes were hazy and struggled to stay focused. I see. He didn't want to fight. There would be no window if the opponent was ready to die already. I need to finish him off. Seol-Hwi brought his blade up to Gu Yeom's throat. Then he saw something in the cabinets the man had been rummaging through. Wait, why is this here? A confectionery bar. The rest of the cabinet was empty, but it seemed like Gu Yeom had been rummaging through it for some time. I'm curious about something. Seol-Hwi turned back to the man. Why were you searching here for so long? Gu Yeom didn't answer, but Seol-Hwi couldn't figure out if he was being stubborn or he just didn't have the energy to respond. I need to get this done quickly. Seol-Hwi hefted his sword again. He swung it down and please select a choice. What now? He decided to kill the man, but another option was presented. Kill. Torture. Why aren't you killing me? Gu Yeom stared up at him with a sudden intensity. I'll get there. What the hell are you on about? Based on my experience, torturing seems like the more useful option. Well then. Seol-Hwi approached and pushed down on the man's shattered collarbone. Ah, ack! The bone cracked loudly. By inducing internal energy into the wound, it would rouse the pain again and twist the bones. It was an excellent torture method. Answer me? Answer what? You should know, crazy bastard. I should do it again. Seol-Hwi was worried that the screaming would attract other people, but he knew that the system always offered him choices for a reason. Can't be helped. Seol-Hwi reached out again. Here. What? I have it, Gu Yeom mumbled through the pain. Take it. You have obtained a piece of a treasure map. 1/7. What is this? He opened the purple parchment, revealing a map with an accompanying manual. Treasure map, purple building treasure map. Description: all of the treasures in the purple building are shown in detail. 10 total treasures. This is. Seol-Hwi's eyes widened. Now kill me? That's easy. Seol-Hwi stretched his hands out, thinking he'd send Gu Yeom off painlessly, but please select a choice. Seol-Hwi examined his choices and swore. Kill, torture this bastard. He had more secrets. You have obtained a island treasure map piece. 7/7. Disgusting bastard. Seol-Hwi scowled down at Gu Yeom. The last one had been particularly hard to get. He could understand hiding things on your legs or the soles of your feet, but in your butt. Seol-Hwi couldn't help but swear. All pieces of the island treasure map, 7/7, have been collected. Seol-Hwi didn't understand how this man had got it, but the map showed where every treasure in all 7 buildings was. Come to think of it. Seol-Hwi's gaze was drawn to the side. There was a treasure mark under the closet if he wasn't mistaken. Ah! The man had been looking for the treasure but couldn't find it. Looks like someone took it. Instead of a treasure, there was just a confectionery bar. Seol-Hwi tucked the map into the toolbox so it wouldn't get damaged by accident. Plus, he'd be able to take it into his next life if he needed it. At any rate, at least he had one bamboo plaque. The first treasure was in the 6th room, stashed under the stairs to the 3rd floor. Obtain the manual for secret voice transmission. Usually, this technique would take time to learn, but Seol-Hwi had it imprinted straight into his mind at shocking speed. You have learned secret voice transmission. So long as he met the conditions, he could learn anything. No lengthy teaching period necessary. Wasn't it remarkable? The second treasure was located in the 9th room on the 3rd floor. A blank book was hidden behind a closet. You have obtained the recipe for iron demonic poison. Seol-Hwi didn't think it was helpful in the current situation, but it was still good to learn it. You have mastered iron demonic poison. Seol-Hwi moved on. The 3rd treasure was at the very end in room 12. It was tough to find. He had to break open the ceiling to find it. Advanced, you have obtained demonic arm guard. Advanced? A treasure was a treasure. What was this advanced level? Better than the other ones? It sure looks unusual. Unlike a typical arm guard which protected the wrists and knuckles, this one had flexible silver overlapping scales extending over the entire arm. The whole thing glowed with a soft silver light. Should I try it? Seol-Hwi was curious to find out what advanced meant and decided not to put it in the toolbox just yet. You have acquired the basic skill Wind Fist. Your understanding of the red-hot palm has increased. I think I found something incredible. Seol-Hwi's head snapped towards the system window. Demonic arm guard, description. Advanced treasure, currently ranked 34 in the demonic sect. 40 years ago, in the battle between the demonic sect and the forces of justice, a man famously deflected a blow from Mount Hua's champion and snapped his neck. This item was placed in martial military training. Whoa, insane! He knew there would be treasure, but he'd never imagined something like this. This was no mere treasure. That man it referred to had to be Elder Nok Jiang, a member of the demonic sect's general troops. Hadn't he been called a powerhouse of the sect when he was in his prime? Why would they invest so much in people who could die at any time? Seol-Hwi mulled over it for a moment. If you dared to risk your life and survive the attempt, then this place was ideal for growing as a warrior. It was no wonder the rest of the demonic sect regarded the graduates so highly. I need to get moving. Seol-Hwi wasn't satisfied with what he'd got. The treasure map showed him 4 treasures on the 3rd floor, and someone had already taken one of them. 3 more treasures awaited him on the 2nd floor. He hadn't noticed at first, but the shape of the building made it evident as he traversed the 2nd floor. There was a fight going on. The doors were left open for him, luckily. To his surprise, there were no less than 4 people locked into a standoff. Why don't you move somewhere else? We learned attack arts. Do you think we'd let you go? You seem to have come from the administration hall. Who doesn't know how clumsy your attacks are? Then come at us. If you're ready to die, come at us. Seol-Hwi got a little closer and their stats came up. Status summary: Mu-kyung 7 Dragons team of the administration hall, health. 23.5/23.5 internal energy. 2510/2510 status summary. Gamya 7 Dragons team of the administration hall, health. 32.3/32.3 internal energy. 2920/2920 status summary. COT Demonic Dragon team of Red Demon Hall, health. 29.1/29.1 internal energy. 1620/1620 status summary. Seol-Hwi Demonic Dragon team of Red Demon Hall, health. 45.0/45.0 internal energy. 4670/4670. The Administration Hall and the Red Demon Hall were 2 of the 4 pillars that supported the sect from within. The Supreme Pavilion and Wushan Pavilion were subordinate to the halls, which is why they're stronger than Jiak Mayang. Particularly this Seol-Hwi, damn it. Seol-Hwi was troubled. The treasure is over there. The treasure chest was squarely between the opposing teams. The box stood out, making it obvious that there was treasure inside. How do I? All of them had high skills, not to the extent of overpowering him, but Seol-Hwi could be seriously hurt if he was unlucky. It would be even worse if they had good teamwork. Stats: health, 73.6/74.8 internal energy, 68.0/68.0 good numbers. The thing was, the window wouldn't pop up until he found a weakness or he was in danger. Abruptly, the standoff broke. The Red Demon Hall made the first move. "Where are you going?" The man from the administration hall easily blocked the attack and ducked to the side. The room quickly filled with the sounds of their battle. Seol-Hwi debated his next move. In theory, it would be better to let them fight and then pick off the survivors, but he wouldn't get any stronger unless he took risks. He'd obtained everything he had by risking his life and losing it. "I want to take them down myself. Is there no way?" "Ugh!" Gamya from the administration hall staggered from a blow to the shoulder. "A great opportunity. Found a weakness in the Seven Dragons team member Gamya. How would you like to respond?" Attack, use martial arts, use toolbox, approach the opponent, new, fuck. Seol-Hwi thought that the moment Gamya lost his balance would be a perfect time to make his move, but the window interrupted him. Disconcertingly, he couldn't walk away now. 6'5", if he didn't choose, he'd get a random option. "I can use martial arts to kill one, but there are 4. The moment I enter the room to use my martial arts, all of them will come at me." Seol-Hwi's nerves spiked. Even if he attacked, he couldn't guarantee that he'd defeat all of them. "Ah, shit, I don't know anymore. Let's just go 3-2 which direction?" Seol-Hwi stared blankly at the sudden new option. "What is this?" An arrow pointed wherever Seol-Hwi looked in the still frozen room. Evidently, it wanted to know where he wanted to move. So maybe. "It moves me instantly?" Seol-Hwi felt goosebumps rising on his skin. Fortunately, there wasn't a timer for this. Seol-Hwi had time to think. West would put him closer to Gamya. Sal-Yu was 10 steps away, having recovered his sword after striking Gamya. North of Gamya was Mu Kyung, Gamya's companion. He kept his sword pointed towards COT, despite knowing that his teammate was injured. East and south are safe options, but Sal-Yu and COT would be a little further away, and Mu Kyung would be 5 steps away. However, Seol-Hwi could end up cornered. The moment they realized Seol-Hwi was stronger than them, they would definitely gang up on him. "I have to kill 2 people at once. That'll cause enough confusion to buy me time." Seol-Hwi instantly appeared next to Gamya. The man spun around, but he was too late. Seol-Hwi's sword went right through his chest. Gamya 7 Dragons team of the administration hall, health. 0/32 dead in 1 shot. Well now, honestly, Seol-Hwi was shocked. He didn't think the system would put him this close. QEK. The other 3 were equally startled. They warily raised their swords at Seol-Hwi as he pulled his sword out of Gamya. Seol-Hwi figured this fight was worth doing. No, he was certain it was. A golden opportunity. Found a weakness in Mu Kyung. How will you respond? A golden opportunity. Found a weakness in COT. How will you respond? A golden opportunity. Found a weakness in Sal-Yu. How will you respond? It was like a gift from God.